On today's episode, I am super excited about this one because I have a special guest that not many people see, not many people ever get to talk to, but are always intrigued about. This is really exciting because I'm like, oh my God, I have got the guest of my dreams. I'll see you shortly.
Do you want to know everything? What your heart won't say, but your soul can sing. From love to loss and the space between, she's got the light to lift the unseen. Hope, healing, and transformation. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to know everything?
Welcome to Hope, Healing, and Transformation. My name's Lisa Williams, and today's episode, we are diving into viewpoints, opinions, and this is somebody who I've been absolutely dying to interview for a very, very long time. My skeptical husband. So now I'm going to welcome His Highness, not really, but here he is, Chris Eichert. Come on, sit down, baby. Oh boy. Yeah, you have to get close here. You have to act like you like me.
Yeah. Thanks for flying me in.
Flying you in from where?
Wherever.
Oh my God. So Chris and I, how long have we been together now?
9.5 years.
9.5 years. We have been married
6
years as of yesterday. It was our wedding anniversary yesterday. And so you used to come to church with me.
Yes.
You've been to many churches with me.
Yes.
You've seen many demonstrations. You've seen a house full of crystals. You have had to put up with weird stuff. And I've had many people ask me, how does he cope? And I've also had many people ask me for Chris to talk to their husbands. And so now we're going to dive in on some of these questions that I have for you. Is there anything you want to preface this conversation with?
No, this is going to go swimmingly. I can assure you.
All right. So you grew up in a religious background.
Yes.
Very religious.
Yes.
What was the religion?
To this day, I still have yet to figure it out, but it's somewhere between Lutheran and something else.
Okay. But what were the core beliefs that you were taught about spirituality, God, or the afterlife?
You accept the person into your life, obviously the God, and obviously follow his direction, be a good person, go to heaven, afterlife. There you go. That's about it.
And do you think that you're that person?
No.
Why?
No. Well, not in that religion. Not in that religion, no.
All right. Is that because you're now married to a psychic?
No, actually, I'm going to say it's because I believe differently because of a psychic.
Oh, okay. So now tell me what you believe because of a psychic.
So coming to Lilydale and going to church and doing all kinds of very different kind of church.
It was a spiritualist church.
Yeah, very different from what I grew up in. And I think it was being spiritualist now is kind of like taking something from this religion, something from this religion, kind of making my own religion and my own belief system, and being that person, the person that you can actually achieve. I think that's what's important. I don't think it's I need to stick strictly to this religion. I think it's make your own religion and believe in that.
So you think you've actually become the person that you were meant to be now?
I think so, yeah.
And so actually we were talking last night. So we had this somewhat heated conversation about spiritualist principles. Now, spiritualism is a religion, and it is where mediumship started from. So it is the principles that we believe in the continuity of life. And one of the principles is that we believe in God. We believe that God is all there is. We believe in the divine right of spirituality and communication with the afterlife. We believe that we make our own reality according to natural law. There's so many different principles, and depending on which church you belong to depends on what principles you're going to be saying. But what was yours?
Well, my favorite one is it's a God of your own understanding. That's a principle I love, because it's not like everybody understands God for what you're taught. You kind of have to find your own God,
right?
In my opinion.
Okay, all right. So listen, if you have any more questions that you want to ask my husband here, pop them in the chat, because this is not going to be the first and last time that he comes on. Wait, it's not going to be the last time he comes on, because he's agreed to do more.
So it's the last time he comes on sober.
Oh, whatever. Okay. So you are active duty for the next how many days?
Days, I don't know. I'm done with the Army in 38 days.
Right, 38 days. Okay. So how do you think the military has shaped your way in the view of faith or structure or in the unseen world? Because you will never, when everyone says to you, what does your wife do? You never say what she does.
I never say what you do for a multitude of reasons, not the reason I think that you're looking for. But
okay.
I mean, I don't tell people because it always leads to a follow-on, or we just got blacklisted from those people completely if they don't believe in it. So it's usually we always look for other things, like, Lisa's a teacher, or Lisa is a author. Both true, but not. You don't want to start up with, "Oh, she's a psychic."
That's true. That's true. All right. So I have some serious questions. So when we met, I was dating someone else. Okay. We became really good friends. I told you what I did. Did that bother you that I was a psychic medium, or did you not even have a clue?
No, I'm going to say I didn't. I mean, you're kind of an amazing person, and you're quite pretty. So
I've got this on tape.
To tell you the truth, I didn't really put a whole lot of thought to it, but I also really didn't know what that entailed or mean at the time. It was until much later I realized how crazy you are.
Okay, so when you realize how in depth my work was and how dedicated I am to my work, was that like, how did that affect you? What was that like?
It's hard. I get to share you with the world. Mm-hmm. I have to. I don't have an option, because that's what you do. But a lot of fun too.
Right. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
When we go to different places.
We do a lot of stuff.
We have a lot of stuff. There you go. All right. What is one of the things that you would change about my work if you could?
Hours. We don't have hours here. Hours are whenever it starts until whenever it finishes. It doesn't matter if it's weekends, holidays, birthdays. Doesn't matter. I understand that's unrealistic, but yeah.
You would change my work
hours. Your hours suck.
My hours suck. There you go, guys. Yeah. You heard it from him. All right. So what is the hardest part for you to wrap around your head around about my work, or about this spiritual space?
Oh man, years ago I probably would have taken this down a whole different road, but after being together for as long as we have been, surprisingly not much. It's really cool to see the amount that I've evolved as a person.
You have. We'll talk about that.
Oh, okay. We'll get into that later then. I don't think I would actually change much. I think it was very necessary at the time it came into my life. I don't know. I wouldn't want to change a thing. I wouldn't want anything different.
Yeah, how have you evolved? Because in our relationship, we've dealt with a lot. Okay. And how have you evolved in that place?
Take it back a little bit farther. So obviously I was, well, not obviously, you guys don't know, I was married before. My first wife passed away, and I went through a very, very strange change in life because she was somewhat similar to me. My daughter was 14 at the time. And then I met Lisa, and I don't know how to explain it, but it was like I got flipped on my head because I was not ready for what was coming, or the fact that my entire my entire mindset was going to change drastically over the course of years and years, just because our relationship is so much different. Has so much more depth to it. There's not a whole lot of superficialness to it. It's very, when we have conversations,
They're
conversations.
Real. They're real.
We're going down a rabbit hole on
Shit.
daily. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. It's a whole different, it's just very different. I don't really know how to explain it other than the best thing that could have happened to me at the best possible time in my life. And it completely changed just about everything about me.
Yeah, you came home the other day and you actually said, let's talk about this past life stuff. And I've never actually heard you talk about past lives. In fact, every time I talk about anything like this, you're the first person to walk away and roll your eyes. So where did that whole thing come from?
I don't know, actually. Probably something I read somewhere. My joke is always that I'm going to be so lucky that I come back as myself again, because it's almost guaranteed.
But then there was also this moment that when we were talking about vision boards, and you said, we need to do a vision board. And we were in Fort Riley. We just moved to Fort Riley. Do you remember this?
I do.
And I recorded that because I think I wanted to keep it, right, for like prosperity. And you said, what did you say?
I don't know, but whatever it was. I had my soldiers doing vision boards. I had everybody kind of under the thought process of, you got to see it in order to achieve it type of stuff.
That's right.
So, which is apparently a reality.
Well, you have changed. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
You have absolutely changed. But, because this is a question that I get asked all the time. When we die, who are you going to be with, me or Rosa? True story. Who are you going to be with, me or Rosa?
How the fuck do I know? I'll probably be so lucky you'll be on each side of me.
Oh, look at you. All right, so I get asked that question all the time, right? I get asked this question about so someone does the reading and they're like, well, I've just met this new guy and my husband's just passed away, and now I'm having this quandary about who I need to be with in the afterlife, which is a valid thing. All right, so I want you to know it's a valid thing, and your opinions and your feelings are very, very valid. But here's what I believe is, I believe that we're actually all together. And I'm going to share something that I think about Rosa. Rosa did not like me. All right, let's just put this into perspective. Okay. Now, Rosa is his former wife. Okay. Now, in this moment, I believe, All right. So I just did a podcast on karma, and I just did a podcast on past relationships. And apparently Ray and I have had many relationships as well. But I believe that Rosa and I at one point were sisters. And I truly believe that she was in my life, or I didn't even meet her, but there was a connection in our life that this had to play out the way it is. Because if you look at the way that Kaylee is, if you look at Charlie, if you look at you, if you look at Rosa, if you look at the whole, even our fathers are exactly the same. Even our parents my mom and his mom were born 2 days apart in the same year. And it's insane. What do you think to that?
I think it's very not like that at all.
Well, tell me your opinion.
My opinion on this subject
Yeah, let's
would
bring
be
it up.
If I was to die today and you die whenever you die, my suspicion is that my former life is kind of gone. My life that I left this earth on is the life that I would have in the afterlife. If I'm taking a guess, because I always got to have my opinion on this.
Well, this is why you're here, because you're opinionated.
Very opinionated. We weren't the same people. When I was in my first marriage, I didn't believe the same way I believe today. I think that when you pass, if there is something afterwards, I think it goes off of your current belief. I don't think it goes off of how you thought back then. I'm not even the same person that I was 10 years ago.
Even 5 years ago.
5 days ago. I mean, I feel like I evolve every day. So honestly, I think that when you die, you go out where you currently are in your mind and what your belief system is. I certainly didn't believe like this 10 years ago when it came, especially on the spiritual side. Completely not this.
No, I know that.
I think as we evolve as humans, I think our afterlife evolves as well. That's what I think.
That's a good answer. It's the best answer, by the way. No, but no. So I think a lot of people ask that question. A lot of people want to know that, and I think it's very important to address it. And especially as you've lived it. And I think, we all have our own opinions. Okay, so I am just going to say this. All right, given what you have been through, what would you say to somebody who has had the same thing that happened where they lost a spouse? What would you say your biggest, I want to say your biggest lesson was that you learned from and that you have to almost let go of? Not let go of, but work through.
I feel like you asked this because you know how much I love this conversation. It's my favorite. Okay. We could be on this for an entire show right here, but we will not. Again.
Maybe this is a whole other
personal opinion. I think you grieve the person that you were with. I think it's very important to grieve the person you're with. I still don't actually believe that I have fully.
I agree with that.
And I think that the most important thing is to understand that even though that person's gone, lucky for you, you're still here. And I think a lot of people stop living their life at that point because they think, oh, I found my person. That's bullshit. Okay. There's 6 billion people on this planet. If you can't find another person that somewhat resembles you, and many people found them right down the street to begin with. If you don't get out and experience the world again because, of you thought that you lost your person, the only person that you're cheating is yourself. Mm-hmm. And the sad part is you're cheating the person that passed away, who left your life because, there's no way in my mind that I could possibly believe that somebody on the other side was like, oh yes, please, I'm the only person that was in your life. Definitely stay right where you are and stay miserable and never forget me. My wife passed away in 2017. Lisa and I celebrate her birthday, our wedding anniversary, everything that my former wife and I had that was important, we celebrate. So there's ways of doing things. It's not the fact that you're moving on and saying, oh, you know what, that was my last life. It is kind of a chapter in your life, but that chapter created the character. It created the storyline. You don't forget it when you read a book. Obviously, you don't forget chapters 1, 2, 3, when you get to 7, 8, 9, 10. But if you never move on, your book's over, and you're over, sadly.
I talk about it as being the tapestry of life. And I talk about it being that there's a tapestry and everyone has a thread in that tapestry. You have a golden thread in my tapestry that is an outline. And I clearly have that. And so does Rosa. But there are certain threads in the tapestry. We all impact each other's. And I think that you have to, life is for experiencing. And you have a very, very unique perspective on things. But I think it's very valid from what you've gone through.
I agree. And I wouldn't want it any differently. I mean, It's exactly who I am. Because of what I've been through is why I am who I am.
But also, you were very honoring of Rosa. At that point, you were really honoring of her energy. You were honoring of her memory. You were also honoring of her as well in that space when it came to our relationship.
You have to.
Right, of course.
Just like I would do the same for you.
Right.
I mean.
But one thing I have to say is I inherited the dog, the daughter, the husband. Okay, this is what happened. And I always say that Rosa trained him and brought him to me fully trained because you were fully trained. I didn't have to do any training. A little bit of training. Just a little widget.
A little widget.
Just a little widget.
We had to drug the dog.
Oh, yeah, we did have to drug the dog. We did. We drugged George. George is no longer with us. All right, so let's talk about George. Okay, so George is our pit bull, or was our pit bull, okay? And you came into a family with George, Max, and Lucy. Okay, so Lucy was my dog and Max was my dog. And in this part, okay, we had a relationship and Lucy died and she was your little girl, your little baby. And then we had this. Then, all right, so our dogs have been gone almost a year now. Okay, Max has been gone a year. Max is tomorrow, and George is next week. Okay, so in that place, I was chasing a feather in Paris. I was chasing a feather because I thought it was George. Now, my skeptical husband here told me to leave the feather and leave it as a sign for somebody else. That was crazy. So tell me about signs. Do you believe in signs from your loved ones?
No.
Excuse me.
Not so much.
Why not? Did you not believe that feather I was chasing around by whatever that art gallery is? I can't remember.
No.
That we were doing. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like chasing this damn feather around.
For 10 minutes.
So it was on George's birthday.
Yes, it was.
Do you not believe that was George?
No.
Sending us a sign?
No.
What are the repeating signs that we see? We see 11:11 all the time.
I think everybody sees 11:11 all the time.
Oh my God, you're so skeptical. You're such a skeptic.
And I'm the one who sends it to her. Oh, 11:11.
Yeah, you do. You send it to me. All right. Let's do this. Okay. What do you think that people need to know? All right. So let me just say this. I got two questions. Let's just say you're chatting to somebody else is training to be a psychic medium and their husband is, doesn't believe or is not spiritual, doesn't have a spiritual bone in their body. What would be your advice to that person, that spouse?
He doesn't have a spiritual bone in his body?
Yeah, I mean, or she. It's like they're in total opposite ends of the spectrum of that.
I think you can support your spouse without believing. But I wouldn't say if you had no spiritual bone in your body about it, I would say just pay attention for a while. It'll either come to you or it won't. If it doesn't come to you, then you can completely stay away from it. And if it does, because surprisingly his shit rubs off, then I would say ask questions. But I don't think it's for a lot of people, and I think it's for a lot of people. Sadly, I just don't believe that everybody realizes it's for them until they get into specific conversations or thought processes.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about healing. What do you believe in about healing? Tell me your first experience about healing, my darling.
My first experience.
Yeah, tell me about your first experience about healing, my darling.
It was a surprisingly good one. I was sick. Not nice sick. Very disgusting.
When were you sick? Describe the situation.
So we were in a hotel, and yeah. So anyway,
what he's trying to say
we were in a
is
hotel.
We had a date, and we had an overnight date.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't really realize where we were trying to get to.
We had
an overnight.
We had our first
date,
overnight
our first
date.
overnight date, and I got sick as hell, and thank God that our hotel was sizable, because there was a good amount of space to the bathroom. But after that, she decided that she was like, "Oh,
no, I didn't decide. I asked."
She did ask, but she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna touch you," and I was like, "Oh, this is
no, I'm gonna put my hands." I was going. People might be listening to this. I'm going to touch you. Right? It could be taken the whole different way, baby.
Sorry.
But I said, do you mind if I know you don't believe, but do you mind if I place my hands on you and do my woo-woo stuff?
And it was my back.
Was it your back or your belly?
Nope, it was my back. Trust me, because I was facing away from you, because I felt like a dick. Anyway, 4 hours later, I woke up because I couldn't sleep all night, and I felt incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why. Still don't believe it.
Well, you must believe in something, because I did something.
You did something.
And it was actually only 2.5 hours later, but that's okay.
It was definitely 4 hours.
Okay.
That's because when you're with me, time stops.
Oh, we can agree to disagree. Oh my God, you smooth talker. Carry on telling the story.
Well, that was pretty much the end of the story. I can tell you how good I felt because we went for pizza.
That's right, we did. We did.
Delicious pizza.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and actually, we had a conversation with the girl delivering us pizza.
I recall.
And what was I saying to her? I think we were talking about spiritual and how people show up in the world.
Yeah, people that show up at the right time for the right reason. I guess something like that.
Right.
She was not having a great day.
And you told me you loved me that day.
The hell did I know?
She was not having a great day, you're right.
She was not.
But we made her feel better.
Tipped her pretty good, too.
Yeah, I know.
That usually works.
That's right. All right. Anyway. Okay, so you've lived in a spiritual community for quite some time in Lilydale. What has been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned by living in a spiritual community?
That's actually a good question.
Yeah, I know. I'm full of bright ideas and
yeah,
good
it's
questions.
a real good one.
It wasn't even on my list either.
Well, people change. Uh, obviously, the political side of it is a little bit intense from time to time. What have I learned the most, though, is good. Damn, that's a good question.
I know.
I don't even know if I have an answer for that one. I love it here, if I'm being honest. I absolutely love it here. But I also don't really get involved in the community too much. I have my people that I go see. Yeah, I don't really get involved too heavily. So I've learned, I guess the best way to say it is I've learned to kind of stay away because there's a lot of people that don't think like I do. I guess is the better way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
The way I believe, I don't think they believe.
Right.
I think they, again, their spiritual journey has taken them down a different path, or I don't know. We just don't cross. And I'm a lot younger than they are.
You are.
So
All right. So let's talk about the whole emotions, trauma, because I do a lot in the whole trauma space. And you have a very distinct opinion about PTSD. You have very distinct opinions about trauma. And how comfortable you are in that space, talking about childhood trauma and things like that?
fine,
Okay, just wondered.
I think.
Do you believe that our trauma has caused us illnesses in our body? This is a medic, by the way. We're talking to a medic. Who really shouldn't always medic.
Yeah. I would say yes. I think there's definitely an underlying. I mean, you can physically watch people make themselves sick.
Right.
You can physically watch people heal themselves.
Right.
So, yes.
How come you won't do it for yourself?
What the hell's wrong with me?
Oh,
You're pretty good.
I don't know. Are you? Not everybody wakes up next to you when you go, oh, I don't feel very well. Oh, my arm. Oh, my leg. Oh, my back.
It's because I'm old.
No, you're not. You're younger than I am.
Not in army years. I'm like 116.
Can you believe that? He's younger than me. All right. Okay. Well, yeah, army years. It's very different.
Very different.
Okay. Yes. All right. So that's okay. You can just deal with not having. No, you just. Okay. So let's talk about something quite serious. All right. You know your wife. She does these journeys. All right. So I do plant medicine journeys, and in the plant medicine journeys, you call us going down the rabbit hole. Okay. But I do feel that there's been some infiltration, even though you won't touch it. I do feel as though there's been some infiltration on you and that you have experienced the change. What is your opinion on people trying to heal themselves through doing journey work? And journey work, I talk not necessarily plant medicine, I'm talking drumming, I'm talking shamanic journeys. What is your opinion on people doing healing their own childhood wounds or their own trauma that way?
So, okay, again, goes on the person. Personally, do I think that what you do could help me? Sure, maybe. Am I going to do it? No. But for different reasons. Other people, I honestly believe that if you believe it will help you, why wouldn't you try it? Personally, I don't feel like I need to go into the matrix in my mind to find out what's wrong with me. I'm pretty sure I can tell you what's wrong with me. most people I think are scared to say out loud what they think is wrong with them, because then they'll start believing it. So I think they look to other forms of therapy to I don't know, to coax with it better. I personally don't see the overwhelming benefit from it for me. However, I have seen people that we both know that do it and are completely different people because they've done some work.
Right. Absolutely. I actually agree. All right. So I've got some random questions here. These are actually quite funny. All right. So this is what chat came out with, some questions. And I just think that these are hilarious. Chat GPT.
Awesome.
All right. So, all right. If I were in the military, what would my leadership style be?
That's what would your style be?
Yeah.
Style.
Would I be straightforward? Would I whip them into shape? What would I be?
No, actually, I don't think so. I think you can be like that in your regular life because you've done it for a long time. But I think in the military, I think a lot of people would just mow your ass over.
Okay.
So I think you'd be in for a few years and you'd be done.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Okay. Have you ever had to secretly worry that I am reading your mind or that I am intuiting into our relationship?
No.
Why is that?
I don't want to use the word we made a deal, but we kind of made a deal. That was actually one of the things in my mind that was a deal breaker, because if you're going to intuitively go into our relationship and try to influence things in your way, then what the hell are we doing together? Because it doesn't work like that.
All right. Do you think my work has made our marriage more interesting?
Oh, God, yeah.
Why?
Because it's crazy every day. Literally crazy.
Why is it crazy every day?
There's very few jobs where you can say, "Hey, babe, how was your day?" You could say that to me, and my response is usually, "It was another day, same day as it was yesterday." But your day is not that day. Your day is completely different every day. Not that we talk about your patients very often or your clients very often, but you don't have the same day twice.
No, I don't.
Not very often. So I don't know. It's fun.
All right. So what has been one of the most, you've listened to many readings that I have done. What are some that have stood out for you? Or what are some things that shock you about my work?
I always say it that you're never really wrong, which is scary. I'll use one of my of all time favorite things that I remember. We were in Arizona at a
Celebrate Your Life.
Yeah, we were at a Celebrate Your Life, and you picked up a woman, and the entire row was the family, and you got on stage and you did a very specific gesture about a young boy who passed away.
I remember this one.
I think he was killed by the boat. I think he fell off the boat and was killed. But you did a very specific gesture on stage, and you had the entire family standing. And when you did it, everybody kind of fell down. Like, I mean, absolutely broke down in tears. And it wasn't words. It wasn't anything. It was
A gesture.
It was a gesture of a stance.
It was. It was a Superman
And
stance.
yeah. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And that's something that I will always remember. That was probably one of my favorite readings by you, because it was still very early in our relationship. So I was still like, what the hell is going on? And then when I saw these people fall down like dominoes, I kind of shit myself a little bit. I was like, wow, that was intense.
She's a real deal.
Yeah. So that's the one I'll always remember very well.
So we have had a few experiences that happened in this house. Like, do you remember when Kaylee was upstairs and she shouted downstairs and you went up, and she thought that she was making something move, and she thought it was Rosa. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So she was there. But we've had a couple of things that have happened in this house. Do you believe that spirits are going to haunt our house?
I mean, I'm hoping that they're kind of here. You talk to enough of them.
Okay.
They should probably hang out.
Would you rather spend a night in a haunted house with me, or a night in a silent retreat with me?
Oh, I think a haunted house would be cool. Actually, it's funny because she doesn't do haunted houses.
I don't.
That's kind of why I think it would be very neat.
I don't do them.
I don't know. I don't really find that stuff to be very. I don't know.
Now, you also said something really interesting recently. How you wanted to go away for a whole month and not speak.
Yes.
What's behind all of that?
Well, if you know me, I talk a lot. And
you know what? I'm actually surprised you haven't been like rambling.
Yeah, no, not today.
You've not drank enough beer.
No, not at all. I think the whole silence thing is, I have so many opinions. I voice them a lot. I think it's kind of neat, the thought of going away, being completely silent, and taking away that ability to be opinionated out loud. I think it's important to be opinionated inward, because you can reflect kind of on you, and you can always learn more from listening than anything else. So I think it'd be pretty cool to go 30 days without, I don't know, putting your opinion on others.
Did you know the word silent has the same letters as the word listen?
Nope.
Now everybody's going to be writing down the word listen and writing down the word silent and then marking off each letter, and it has exactly the same. So you cannot be silent without listening, and you cannot listen without being silent. Well, I guess you can be silent. Anyway, but just so you know.
You can say a lot very quietly, though.
Right, I know.
Or without speaking.
So, you are one person I wish I could video when you start talking. And we went away with a friend of mine to Sturgis. And then you went on to Montana with them and everything else. What do you think was what do you think your lesson was, or the role that you meant to have played in that whole grand scheme of things? And there's a reason why I ask, because I do believe that we are brought into people's lives for a reason, and that we are lessons and teachers for each other. So what do you think you were the teacher for?
Good question, as always. Probably a little bit of grounding, which is not a word I would use a few years ago.
No.
I think a lot of bit of Grounding for sure, but I think more, I'm usually pretty good at, number one, allowing people to be themselves. I think that's very important. But really, I think it's the feeling safe to be yourself. I think it's important. I think a lot of people lose who they are. I believe that many people have some experience in their life that just ultimately changes every ounce of decision making that they have. And I'm pretty good at not getting you past that, but kind of talking you through it and rebuilding who it is that you are. I think that was, we didn't do a whole lot of talking. We were on a motorcycle half the time, but I think being around someone and feeling comfortable is challenging to a lot of people, especially when what they have turned themselves into is inverted, and the only person that they seem to be comfortable with is themselves.
Right.
So,
and a dog.
Not everybody has a dog, but in this case we did. But it's having a conversation without, and this is weird for me, but not judging the person for the situation or the way they think. Most of that is learned through, actions of others. But when you can break through and say, hey, you know what, I'm not that person, I think that's a big deal. And the person in question, I would believe, felt that.
So you and I have had to deal with a lot of things in our marriage. We've had a lot. What has been the hardest thing for you?
I don't know. That's a hard one. Might have to go to a different question for that one, because normal people would say, oh, it's your travel. I really don't mind your travel that much. I think the hardest part is, again, I've said it earlier, I have to share you with everybody. Most people have, their spouse, and oh man, that's their spouse. We don't have that. We have, yes, you're my spouse, you're my wife, and we see each other, well, not a lot always, but it's just way different, because if you haven't figured it out, the phone doesn't stop, either of them. Work always goes, and it doesn't matter what time it is. That's what you do. So that's probably the hardest part of our relationship.
Is there anything you want to ask me?
No.
No?
No, this isn't my talk show.
Were you twisted your arm into doing this?
Kind of.
Not really.
Not really. Something I wanted to do.
Yeah. I think you'll feel much more relaxed on the next one.
More beer.
Oh my God. Really?
Yes.
All right. So, do you believe that your intuition has kept you alive in the military?
Yes.
I pause because he once said no. Why do you think that?
I don't know. You just feel shit.
Right.
You can feel a bad situation, typically.
Okay.
I said no before, probably because I wouldn't have said it was intuition. I think it was just a feeling, but I guess intuition, again, now that I'm more evolved in the world of your world, crazy. But yeah.
Okay. So if I had to walk in your shoes in your life, what do you think would have been the hardest part for me to walk in your shoes?
Meeting you.
Why?
I don't know.
Is that the hardest part?
Fuck no, that was easy.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. I think probably one of the harder things was leading people when you knew there was a bad outcome.
Okay.
I think in the military, I think that was probably one of the harder things that
That I wouldn't have coped with.
probably not well.
No.
Probably go along with that.
All right. So I would love you just to share some parting words of wisdom from your magical brain up there. What are some parting words of wisdom to actually give someone some hope in today?
Hope in today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, man, you're going to narrow it down a little bit, though. It's too
Well,
wide.
maybe somebody's dealing with grief. Maybe someone's lost a spouse. Maybe someone's lost a child. Maybe someone's got some health issues. Maybe someone is going through a divorce. Maybe someone's been cheated on. Maybe they've got trust issues. Maybe they've got, I don't know. What is your words of wisdom that you have?
I think my words of wisdom are very similar to many people's words of wisdom. And it's whatever you're going through right now does not define you. If you are not pushing forward in life, if you're not trying to evolve, then you are guaranteed to be in the same place that you were yesterday. So I think it's always no matter what situation you're in, you have to persevere, you have to move forward. I think that's probably the most important thing, because that will get you out of a lot of shit.
There you go. Thank you guys for watching Hope, Healing, and Transformation. This is my husband, Chris. My name's Lisa Williams, and you've been watching my podcast that I'm going to bring him back on. Will you come back?
Sure. It'd be great.
No, so seriously, will you come back?
Yeah, of course.
All right, good. All right, so hopefully that's helped you. It's given you some insight in our relationship. It's also given you some insight on somebody who is really not as open in the spiritual industry as I am, but how it's changed his life too. All right, guys, we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
Do you feel a whisper in the back of your mind, like the truth is waiting, but it's hard to find? Well, maybe there's magic in the words she brings. Close your eyes and listen in. Do you want to know everything? What your heart won't say, but your soul can sing. From love to loss and the space between, she's got the light to lift the unseen. Hope, healing, and transformation. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to know everything?
Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, the information shared on this podcast is meant to inspire and support you, but it's not a replacement for personalized advice from a qualified professional. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to tune in next time. Until then, take care and keep believing in something better.